Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about a tank called the Smok TFV4. This thing is absolutely crazy, and I'll show you a few features in a second. But this is one monster of a sub-ohm tank, and I'll show you some cloud output, and then we'll go over some features, and then we'll dive down low, and we'll talk about it. So. I'm running this on the Sigelli 150 TC. I have it in power mode and I am running it at 100 watts. That's our 70/30 house juice, not 100% VG. That's just 70/30. I'm running some delicious strontium right here. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up, but that's what I'm running in this tank. Some features. I got my cheat sheet here. It's 24.5 millimeters in diameter. That's unfortunate because most devices like the Sigelli 150 aren't going to fit. It's going to hang over a little bit. The Sigelli 150 TC, it seems to fit just fine, and you'll see that on the close-up. It's actually lines up quite well. But on most devices, it's going to overhang, like the IPV, Sigelli 75 watt, it's going to overhang. But just keep that in mind. It's 100% stainless steel construction. It holds 5 mils of juice, and it comes with two different coil heads, two different varieties of coil heads, and we'll go over those when I dive down. But they're pretty crazy. This is what makes this tank so absolutely off the wall nuts. The coil heads are rated between 40 and 140 watts. Now take that with a grain of salt. I wouldn't run these coil heads at 140 watts personally. I'm running it at 100 and it's performing great. I haven't had any dry hits or burnt hits, but I think if you push it up to the 140 range, you're going to have to start dipping down into the 50-50 PG-VG ratio in order to get that, because it just can't wick fast enough. Comes with the tri-coil heads and quad coil heads. Again, we'll go over that. It's top fill, which is very cool. And I always forget that. I forget that it's top fill, and I'll bottom fill it, and I'll make a big giant mess everywhere. But it is top fill, so that's cool. It has a carb drip tip. So if you're into making the vapor a little bit cooler, and you don't care about so much intense flavor, you can open up that carb, cool the vapor down, and you'll be all set. And it also comes with an RBA section. So the RBA section can handle dual and single coils. So that's about it on the on the overview. Let's dive down, take a look at this up on the table, and see what this thing makes this thing tick. So this is the tank up close. As you can see, it's got a two-part drip tip. This is for the carbed portion of the drip tip. It's, pull this out, make it easier to see. You just turn that to open it up and close that to close it off. I personally like it closed because it gives you better flavor. Here's a close-up of the top fill system. Now this is like a rubber material, and this is your chimney and this is your fill port right here. So you got room for air to escape, and if you fill it from the bottom like I frequently do and I forget, as this is a top fill design, you will make a giant mess and it will cause lots of leaking. So make sure you use this top fill port because that's what it's designed for. Inside you can see the coil heads. This is the quad coil head, which is actually two parallel coils on top of each other. It works very nicely. The tri-coil works very nicely as well. No real wicking issues at 100 watts, as I said. And here is your airflow. Whatever you set on one side will be set on all four other sides. So let's open that. Let's go ahead and open that back up. So let's take a look at what's in the box. This is the box it comes in. Nice material. It's like almost like what a watch would come in, you know, that type of box. You have it's got nice foam on the inside. You have your product information, your QA pass, which it actually says dead on arrival, but I don't know why it says that. I think they all do. Here's your reading information for your tank, if you're so inclined. That's a breakout of how it works. This is where your tank would be, right here. And here are the few goodies that it comes with. It comes with a lot of stuff. It comes with some, I don't know if it's organic cotton or what, but it comes with some cotton. It comes with a few spare O-rings and a spare fill top. Comes with a screwdriver right here, Phillips head, spare glass in case you break yours. It's nice to have. 2 vape bands. I already have one. This is from another box, but it comes with black and it comes with red, and they fit over the glass to protect the glass. The only downside that I see to using these is it's hard to tell where your liquid is. Like right now I can see, but I've used some, so. But you have them to protect the glass as well. You have 2 coil heads. Now I don't have the tri-coil to show you, unfortunately, because the tri-coil is the one that comes pre-installed, and this is a box from a different unit. But here is what the quad coil looks like right here. The tri-coil is pretty nutty. I'm going to throw a picture in right here of what it looks like. This is the tri-coil. As you can see, it has 3 separate heads, so that's pretty cool. The quad coil is just, like I said, dual parallel coils stacked on top of each other. Put that back. And then here's the RBA section. Pretty standard fare for an RBA section for a tank. Get your wicking channels, which are fairly deep, actually very deep for an RBA section. So this thing is made to run high wattage. It's got huge wicking channels. And you can throw a dual coil on here. You can throw them side by side. You can throw a vertical coil. Whatever you want to do. You have a lot of options. Here's the top portion right here. Nice big chimney for that. So let's get all this stuff back into place. We will close up this box. We will take a step back out. We will talk about it, the pros and the cons. And is it recommended? So let's step back out and talk about it. Alright, I got my little cheat sheet here of pros and cons. And there are quite a few pros and there's quite a few cons to this tank. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. But before we go over that, I want to take one more drag to show you the cloud output, because I think this is very important for this tank, for the user who's going to be buying this tank, wanting to see this cloud output. So That is outstanding for a tank. And the flavor is pretty good too. So, here we go. 24.5 millimeter diameter. Already mentioned that. Not so much a con, not so much a pro, but it's there. 5 mil capacity, which sucks. I don't know why I listed that as a pro, because this tank burns through liquid. 5 mils will last you not a very long time, especially if you're pulling 100 watts like I am. Like, just the few drags that I took, I'm visible past this ring. I can see where my juice is. That's how fast it burns juice. It's full stainless steel construction, which is a pro. Trying quad coil heads, which is a pro because the coil heads are great. Rated between 40 and 140 watts, like I said. The tri-coils come in at 0.2 ohms. So, if you have a device that can run down to 0.2 ohms, that's great. You would want to use the tri-coil heads. If you have a device that can run down to 0.15 ohms, like the Sigelli 150 TC, the quad coils are great also. Top fill, which is awesome. That's an awesome feature. The carb drip tip, it's there if you want it. It's not if you don't need it. And the RBA section, which most tanks don't even provide. The Kangaroo is one of them, but none of the Atlantises or Tritons or any of those Aspire tanks, you have to buy them separately, and they're quite a bit amount of money. They're running $14, $15. Cons. Now I'm gonna bring two of these down. The 5 mil capacity is a con because of how fast it sucks up juice. The non-standard size is a con to some. To me, this I think looks pretty cool. It fits very nicely. It doesn't overhang at all. It fits flush. But it is big. It is big for some people. Some people with some mods, it's not going to fit right. There's no temp control. So if you're looking for a tank with temp control, there are no temp control coils for this tank yet. So look somewhere else. Down the line, possibly, probably, I'm going to say, go out on a limb and say yes, there will be temp control for this tank. But as it is right now on October 24th, I believe it is, there are no temp control coils that we have. The RBA section is not sold separately. It's in the box, so that's not a con. It does spit juice, very little. The owner whose tank this is, Matt, said the tri-coils spit more than the quad coils. Other people online say the quad coils spit more than the tri-coils. So it's kind of your mileage may vary. I haven't had any spitting on the quads. I haven't tried the tris, but I heard they're very good. So keep that in mind. When I say it spits juice, it's a little bit of spit back. Not like it's not throwing milliliters of juice in your mouth. It's just once in a while you get a pop and you get a little bit of juice in your mouth. And it consumes juice very, very, very quickly. But that's the nature of the beast. This tank is huge. It's got lots of cotton. It's got lots of coil. It's got lots of wire. And it can handle a lot of power. So who's this device for? This device is not for somebody who's looking just to buy a sub-ohm tank. Stepping up from an Ego 1, a Vision spinner with a Maxi. This device is for someone who likes to drip. If you're a dripper and you want a tank so you can drive around with and not have to worry about dripping and driving, which is dangerous and we don't condone at all, this tank is fantastic. You can put 5 mils of liquid in it. You're driving half an hour. That should last you enough to get to your destination, and you can swap out your dripper, put your dripper on, you're good to go. Like I said, this is not a beginner's device. This is not an intermediate device. This is an advanced device just because of how much output. Even when I first tried this tank myself, I was kind of coughing, and I vape RDAs at 150 watts down, from a range of 100 to 150 watts, no problem, wide open airflow. This thing kind of gave me a run for its money, as far as that goes. So beginners are out. Mostly advanced, late intermediate to advanced. If you can rebuild, this is a great tank for you. If you're just starting to get into rebuilding and you're starting to get into dripping and you want, a tank that can handle it and you can grow into, this tank is great for you. But other than that, I'd say skip it and go for something like the Kanger, which is a fantastic tank, or Atlantis Triton, which are lower wattage tanks. So that ends this overview, not a review, just an overview of the Smok TFV4. I hope it helped some of you. And until next time, signing off.